create 304s. Men create them. Joy Taylor could not exist without men. Joy Taylor, she could not exist.
There's nobody, like, I don't mean this in a demeaning way. There's nothing that a man can do for me but love me. It has a lot to do, honestly. Again, we don't have enough time to get into all of it, but the patriarchy is the answer for like most of the questions that we have. And it goes all the way back to slavery.
But like, what do you feel like definitely defines you in this business, with you being a young black female and this being a hard industry to even work in around nothing but dominant men?
Well, I grew up in an abusive household. So I think I have a innate fear of relying on anyone else
That's deep.
for survival.
Right.
So I sort of apply that to, maybe in an unhealthy way, to everything that I do in life. In my career, I always have this anxiety that it's not enough, or that it's not good enough, or that it could all just go away. Right. So I never really get complacent.
I rarely record when I'm angry or borderline frustrated, but on the eve of the two best teams in the NBA playing each other, the sports world is abuzz of sex scandals, not of NBA players, but of people that are supposed to be covering NBA players. Of course, we all know SGA Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the star Canadian basketball player leading the Oklahoma City Thunder, a small market team that through all odds found a way to get a team together that can be the best team in the West. But the Cavs have been criminally undercovered. The promo here shows Donovan Mitchell, but he's not even the engine of the Cavs. It's Evan Mobley, a guy who is criminally underrated. But the people covering the sports, while they're smashing the patriarchy, are smashing the patriarchy. And we're hearing the story of Joy Taylor become the story of sports, when really all she did was just do something that pretty much women do with their husbands or boyfriends or whoever they're with all across the planet. But the truth of the matter is, this coverage is our fault. It's our fault because people eat this up and it gets ratings, and specifically guys. And if guys want to change this, we need to look into changing the fundamental ways that men consume what's around us and what we consider our practices for well-meaning stand-up men.
But, this person is operating from a standard of morality that has existed for thousands and thousands of years. A standard. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about a person, a woman who uses her attraction, a person who uses her charisma, a person who uses her feminine wiles in ways where men are manipulated, where at the end of the day, she is able to put men in her pocket, where she was able, in the end of the day, put men in compromising positions. This is 304. 304. This is Machiavellianism. 304 Machiavellianism.
What is supposed to dress like this? Look at yourself. She's a demon.
In opposition to the social regulation that we saw in Zambia, the social expression of women sexually and even the sexual behavior of young ladies, or all ladies, to even be suggested to be regulated by anyone besides themselves is akin to oppression by the patriarchy. But this freedom, the freedom even to get involved with your coworkers and claim victimhood, it all comes at a cost.
She is a 304. No commitments, no loyalty. And a 304 is going to do whatever she deems necessary to move up the ladder. And she will dispose of you. She will get rid of you. She will walk all over you. She will eliminate you by any means necessary to elevate herself.
You the pastor that denied that lady her baby shower and embarrassed her up here?
I'm coming in this church. What you want?
I'm asking you a question.
Now, what do you want?
I'm asking you, are you the pastor?
What do you want?
I'm asking you, are you the pastor are you the pastor that publicly shamed that young lady?
What do you want?
I'm asking you a question.
What do you want?
Are you the pastor who publicly shamed that lady?
What do you want?
You can't change a 304. You cannot domesticate a 304. You need to be able to recognize a 304 when you see a 304. You need to be able to recognize that. Some men are able to recognize this, a 304, and they move accordingly. But you have other men who are unable to recognize a 304. You have some men who are so insane, who are so over the top, that they would take the risk with a 304 for the challenge. They would take a risk of the 304 for whatever reason, desperation, hunger, thirst, or what have you. They would do that and put everything on the line.
Of course, I can't condemn the young lady because I don't know the circumstances under which she got pregnant, but it's a good chance that the pastor did. But what we're seeing here is a gentleman saying that you are trying to oppress this young lady and he's trying to stick up for her. You're going to see how he does it later. But the pastor is just trying to bring in the quote unquote oppressive patriarchy that had most black children being born in wedlock several generations ago. And this young man thinks that that oppression is unfair. And this is how he fights against it.
Why did you I want to know why you publicly shamed that lady. Don't touch me now. That's assault. We gotta go. All right. He didn't ask me to leave. Don't touch me. He just did, but don't touch me because I touched back. He in my way.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
You say excuse me then.
Come on, man. Come on.
Don't do that. Don't do that. He's all right.
Y'all supposed to be of the Lord, though.
Do that. He's all right.
But y'all see it, y'all. This is the church. We'll be having a protest here. We'll be shutting this down. They up here pressing up on me, then touching all up on me.
You touching on us?
I ain't touching yet.
You ain't gonna touch us.
You ain't gonna touch me.
I don't wanna touch you.
Oh, I know.
So as you can tell, the young gentleman's idea of doing the right thing is to shut down the church and protest what they're doing. And this is akin to the kind of situation we're seeing with Joy Taylor. It's not that she has not been wronged. I don't know the situation behind what she did, but guess what organization is going to take the hit? The sports network, the sports world. The sports world is going to have to suffer because of this situation. Is it fair? No, it's not fair, but that's just the way it works. And so if we're going to lose a sports network, or a sports network might go out of business, or some people that we liked on sports networks are going to lose their positions because the alleged actions, even if they did them or not, are going to take them down, we all lose. A larger group of people lose in a situation where the young lady could have been in a position to say, I'm not going to do that. And if you enforce it, I am going to nip this in the bud before any of this happens. Just like in this situation where most likely this young lady lives in a state where this pregnancy could be prevented in any myriad of ways, and she chose not to do it.
Keep it that way.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
Good night. Y'all being shamed across the whole country, and y'all church gonna be shut down soon. Just know that. We'll be protesting y'all, boycotting y'all, getting that girl the help that y'all won't get, publicly shaming people. Now it's time for y'all to be publicly shamed. I grew up all my life in the church. It's a shame. This church used to be Calvary Community Church, where they welcome people, and they didn't publicly shame people and chastise them for sin. All y'all sinless? None of y'all sin in this whole church? When y'all sinned, everybody had to go to the front like that? It's cool. All right, y'all already know what time it is, y'all. We're going to run it up. Hit that Cashapp bill up 757. We're going to make sure we help this lady. We're going to make sure we get this church shut down. We're going to make sure it's boycotted. So we're going to do things the proper way. This isn't Dr. King's way. This not the way Dr. King would prefer things, but y'all know what it is.
But the point of the stream is that men have to be smart. If the allegations are true, men have to be smart. You don't want to jeopardize everything that you worked hard for, that you've built up over a lifetime, over decades, over the Darwinism, the Machiavellianism, the egoism, and the narcissism of a 304. And I'm afraid in 2025 that we don't have a clear understanding of a 304. We do not have a clear understanding of what a 304 is. We're playing games out here. These 304s, I'm gonna tell you this, these 304s, there are a lot of black men out here who got 304s running circles around them.
The caption reads, when you get a text and it's not the man you actually want, it's unsaved number threatening to spend the rest of his life with you. Of course, the guy that's quote unquote threatening to spend the rest of his life with her is a guy that's in her friend zone. But the scary part about this situation is that one day she can wake up and say, oh, you know what? You're the guy I've wanted all along. And if you want to be with me, here's what I need you to do for me. And that guy, if he's not ready for that situation, might do something like storm into a church and say, I'm going to shut this church down because you shamed this young lady who needs someone to take care of her. When before she was with him, she was doing whatever she wanted.
All of them are not like that. Not all 304s like that. Not all 304s have the sophistication, but there's enough of them out there. They got a sophistication to run a scam on you, and you don't even understand and know that you'll be a scam. You have no clue that you're being scammed by 304. And Joy Taylor is the ultimate 304. She is the ultimate 304. Joy Taylor. If the allegations are true, if everything in the legal documents that have been out there, that are out there right now, are accurate, she is the ultimate 304. The ultimate 304 knows how to exploit the power dynamic between you and her. She knows how to exploit it. She knows how to exploit the power dynamic between you and her, and she will do it to her own advantage. That's the 304.
I find this particular picture interesting, better yet, is revealing of her mindset because, let's be honest, she looked in her closet and deemed this something that was acceptable to wear to work. And of course, if you think about it, in a professional setting, imagine you went to the dentist and your dentist was dressed like this. How about going to the doctor's office and your doctor is sitting with her mammary glands protruding? Or getting on an airplane, you're about to fly 50,000 feet over 2 continents and the pilot is dressed like this. There's a reason why women in those positions don't dress like this. It's because they are professionals and they're not trying to get a certain position because they want to prove that they can do it. They have proven themselves and thus they don't need to use sex to make sure that they can get what they want out of the job.
So am I like the only woman that no longer gets approached by men? No, because I had to actually sit and think about this and I had to ask myself, when is the last time a man came up to me and wanted to get to know me or exchange numbers? And it's been a long time.
I said earlier in the video that all of this is going to come at a cost. Just like it's very possible that some networks or even some people working at the networks are going to maybe lose their careers behind what happened with the choices that were made with Joy Taylor and being with guys and then being with them more times and then waking up one day and saying, I'm going to file a harassment suit against the people at the company. There's going to be a fallout on the other side where guys are saying, I'm going to use the Mike Pence rule, come to work, get my money, go home, and ignore all of these young ladies, even the ones that have their mammary glands showing. And young ladies are starting to notice.
And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it definitely has me questioning myself. Like, am I not as attractive as I thought I am? Am I looking old? Am I intimidating? Like, what is it? So now I'm starting to realize that since men don't come up to me, I have to be the one to go up to them. And that makes me super nervous because it's like, how do I know I'm not going to get rejected if you didn't come up to me in the first place and then I make the decision to go up to you? How do I know I won't face rejection?
And that is the fallout from several decades of having no controls or any kind of social set of instructions for how men should engage young ladies in this new market where one day a young lady can wake up and say, I feel aggrieved and I'm filing a lawsuit. What do? You stay away and you be disciplined with who you're with.
Men, you need discipline. You need discipline. Discipline. Whether you're married or single, it doesn't matter. You need discipline. You need stoic discipline. You need to be able to think rationally about the 304s that are around you. You need to think rationally about 304s. You need discipline. And unfortunately, a lot of us just don't have discipline. That's unfortunately. And that's why the 304s, in their Machiavellian ways, are able to overcome, because we don't have any discipline. Not all of us, but too many of us have no discipline. That's why the 304 can succeed. And here's the thing, and I want to get this out here, and I want to say this directly and clearly and succinctly before I leave this stream. Men create 304s. Men create them. Joy Taylor could not exist without men. Joy Taylor, she could not exist without men. Women are not responsible for where she is. Women are not responsible for whatever she has done to elevate herself. Women are not responsible. Men are responsible for her.
Yes.
So men are responsible for funding and underwriting the kind of 304ism that this person represents. If the allegations are true, men are responsible for underwriting and supporting this stuff. And people like her will continue to come on the scene and will continue to thrive as long as men uncritically sponsor this type of behavior. I am BMI 3000 Reloaded. I am BMI 3000 Reloaded. I am BMI 3000 Reloaded.
Salute to Black Male Independence 3000 Reloaded, also known as Dr. Ronald Neal, for saying the simple part out plain. If you are working in a working environment with a young lady like this who is going to tempt you, you have to have a measure of discipline in order to protect all of the things that you're working for. And of course, there will be casualties. It will be the small talk by the cooler. It will be not wanting to go out after work with certain coworkers, or drinking around certain coworkers, or being in certain rooms alone with certain people. And it can also go to certain people not getting hired, or just avoiding certain types of situations that can end your career. Of course, there's going to be a lawsuit, and she's probably going to get a lot of money, and it's probably going to have a very negative effect on not just the workplace, but maybe even just one less workplace that's going to be available for that young lady that is qualified and is not going to use her body. And the worst part about all of this, the main casualty will be all of the attention that should be going to the best basketball game of the NBA season so far is going to nonsense about which adults chose to be in what compromised position with which adults, while under the guise of pretending that they're covering sports when the biggest basketball game of the year is right underneath their noses. It's clear that the time has come where the identity, the way that male behavior is defined, has to evolve. The idea that you can get with a lot of different women and have a lot of different sex with a lot of different people in different places, that idea has to go in this modern environment. It has to. 20 years of child support, losing your career, all kinds of things that can happen, from a simple allegation to just one day the young lady decides she doesn't want to play the game anymore and she's going to cash out. And if that is indeed the game, then the idea of what masculine behavior is in that game has to change. It has to. And all of the guys that are saying you're not getting any play or the girls don't like you, they can kick rocks, because if it's going to cost this much to play, maybe it's not worth playing anyways. Yes, it is our fault. And maybe it's time that more and more guys must realize this is a game that has to be played in a new way. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. Catch you in the next video. Take care, guys.